It's time for the Luke Howard Show, and guess what? It's recorded, so please welcome Luke Howard. Thank you very much, thank you. Round of applause has always been my favourite part, as I must always say. Good morning, everybody. I hope you're all well. Another show, another day. It's Thursday, the 4th of June, would you believe? Wow, 4 days into June already. Hasn't time gone really, really fast? Hope everyone's day is going well so far. And, of course, 10 a.m. means sit back, relax, make yourselves a cuppa and enjoy, well, me, of course, the one and the only Luke Howard, who's here until 10:45 every day, apart from Sundays. Because Sundays, I just like to lay in my bed all day and have a lovely, lovely sleep. I wouldn't say have a nice sleep on a Sunday, though. I mean, get up early, go walking with mum and come back, and then have another rest then. But, yeah, I still like it. On a Sunday, have a nice rest, but it's a good day off for me as well. So, let's go to today now, because I want to start off by talking about IKEA. Okay, IKEA. Now, in Stockholm, there's a new syndrome called Stockholm Syndrome now, and after more than 2 months without access to Billy podcast or Swedish meatballs, who would be put off by a few hours of queuing. Now, people queuing, right? Queuing does get to me a little bit, okay? I mean, I don't mind queuing up, but it's scary. I find it quite scary queuing up. You get people constantly asking you at the moment, saying, are you in the queue? Are you in the queue? Are you in the queue? Standing outside Sainsbury's, standing outside the Co-op, standing outside the Coles. Are you in the queue? Are you in the queue? No, I'm not in the queue. I'm waiting for my dad to come out. I must get asked that question billions of times when I'm waiting in the queue, which is fine, but it's quite annoying because you get a lot of that around here. A lot around here. You get, are you in the queue? Are you in the queue? Are you buying something? Are you buying something? You get a lot of that at the moment around here, a lot of it. So going back to this, because it just made me think. When they said it. So the queues for this IKEA in Stockholm is just awful. You've got people standing 2 meters apart from each other. The queue is non-stop. Queues are all 2 metres apart, of course. In Warrington, Cheshire, listen to this. In Warrington, Cheshire, a line of socially distant shoppers snacked up and down in the car park, spilling into the road nearby. Now, Belfast saw some of the largest queues, but Samantha Fisher from Bangor in Cowdown was, well, happy to line up at 8 a.m. I wouldn't be happy lining up at 8 o'clock in the morning. My mum and dad at the moment would be going at 7:30 in the morning to Aldi's in Royston to go and get their shopping. They've also been going to 3 different supermarkets because they haven't only got to get the shopping for us, they've also got to get the shopping for Nan and Grandad, of course. So they've been doing big shops a lot. So they've been going out really early to get there for 8 o'clock, which is before. They're queuing up 2 minutes before it opens, which is at 8 a.m. And that's Aldi that's been doing that. So, restaurants, shall we say, play areas and restaurants will stay shut though, but IKEA said it's meatballs that will be available in food courts. I never actually knew that IKEA sold food as well to cook at home, would you believe? Now, wardens will patrol stores to ensure social distancing and only one adult and child per household is allowed in store at a time. Shoppers have been asked to have ready-made lists and own bags, and the stores will provide extra hand sanitizer and more deep cleaning of trolleys and touch screens as well. Do you know, I wouldn't even bother standing in the queue for that sort of thing, to be honest with you, at this time. I wouldn't at all. So, let's talk about global cases. So, at the moment, so Spain has reported no coronavirus deaths for the first time since March. Emergency Health Responses Chief Fernando Simon, he called the development very encouraging. He told a news conference the other day that there had just been 71 new infections recorded in 24-hour periods. He said, we are in a very good place in the evaluation of the pandemic. Mr. Simon has said the statistics and following a trend. They are going to do a right direction. Spain has recorded the first 2 deaths on March the 3rd this year. And of course, it's now June the 4th. That's quite a long time still. And the official toll now stands at 27,127. Is it 27,000? Yeah. with 240,000 confirmed cases of COVID-19, would you believe? The country has been relaxing strict lockdown rules in recent weeks as the outbreak ebbs. So, tourism, which is gradually opening up in Europe. So Greece is opening up for tourism, allowing international flights to Thessaloniki and Athens from June the 15th and all other restrictions from July. The country, which has seen only 175 virus deaths, will screen visitors based on the infection rates in their homeland. Now, meanwhile, Spain's decision is to delay full reopening until July, was defend to tourism. Tourism Minister Mary Reyes Monito, she said that the nation has to put safety first, which is of course they have, and confirmed that Brits will not be among tourists. They welcomed for a trial this month in Italy, and masked visitors in a queue for the veteran museums had temperatures taken. The Colosseum also reopened from the other day, and Italians can move freely, while citizens from across the EU can visit without quarantine. Now, my mum's friend, she lives in Spain, and all their restaurants have just opened up. And she's been going out having meals, but you're not allowed to sit inside. You have to sit outside, and that's the rules about the restaurants. You can't go in at the moment. They're either doing takeaways or you have to sit outside. So, USA. Now, the US has sent to Brazil more than 2 million doses of anti-marijuana drug, touted as a coronavirus protection by Donald Trump, even though there is no proof if it works. No large original studies have found hydrochloroquine safe for effective for preventing or treating the virus, and some smaller studies show that worse outcomes of those taking it. But in the joint statement with Brazil, the White House has said that the huge shipment was intended. Now, both is to protect health workers and treat patients. The US is also sending 1,000 ventilations. Now, Brazil is Latin America's hardest hit country, with more than 28,000 virus deaths and cases continuing to surge. Now, the US has restricted travel from the nation of 212 million, would you believe. Now, car showrooms, as I said, opened up the other day, and car dealerships began reviving up for businesses the other day as they opened their doors for the first time since lockdown restrictions. Now, of course, were eased. Now, at Motor Point in Albury, West Midlands, a salesman was pictured taking no chance as he talks to customers from behind a protective windscreen. Wow, absolutely amazing. What a good idea. Now, we're not talking anymore about schools, because we spoke about schools the other day on the show. So we're not talking about schools from now on. All we know is that some have gone back, and some don't want to go back at all, and that's all I'm going to say about that. They haven't got to go back if they don't want to. Now, let's talk about Trump. So, Donald Trump has bundled into a bunker with protesters gathered which outside the White House. They also began throwing rocks at barriers and began throwing rocks, of course, as well. The president spent almost an hour in hiding on Friday as police struggled to contain angry crowds in Washington. It came and nationwide. This is nationwide. Am I right there? Am I right? Yeah, I'm sure I'm right. The president spent an hour, and of course, demonstrations of George Floyd. Of course, police spoke against African Americans. Melania Trump and their son Barron were also taken to be underground shelter, which was designed to be used for terrorist attacks and similar emergencies. Now, the other night, Mr. Trump held a conference call with governors and national security officers. Now, this was urging them to get together and use the military. He told them, you've got to arrest people, you have to track people, you have to put them in jail for 10 years, and you'll never see the stuff. Again, we're doing it in Washington, D.C., they've been saying. We're going to do something that people haven't seen before. So, Attorney General Bill Barr, who was also on call, told governors to dominate the streets and urge them to go after troublemakers. Mr. Trump, who has recalled calls to address the nation, described his removal to the bunker as take news, but it was confirmed by several sources. So, our protest continued on Sunday night. Police fired tear gas and stun grenades into a crowd of more than 1,000 people in nearby Layret Park. Now, some protesters ran out by others and pulled up, road barriers to add to a blaze, raining in a street. The district is 1,700 strong National Guard and was drafted in to help control the protest. Pentagon officials have said, though, that curfews are in place in cities across the US, but the military reverse force has been unable to stop the violence sparked by the death of Mr. Floyd in Metropolis after video emerged last week of a police officer kneeling on his neck for 9 minutes. The scale of the coast-to-coast disturbances has revealed that those of the civil rights and Vietnam War areas, with at least 4,400 reported arrests for offences much as stealing, blocking roads and breaking curfew. They keep killing our people, as they've been saying, and I'm so sick and tired of it. And military Louis XV was at a protest in Boston, USA, not UK, in Boston in the USA, with her another on Sunday, and in Utah, Lexicon of Black Lives Matter said that maybe the country will get the memo that we are sick of police monitoring unmade black men. And in Atlanta, Georgia, officers used their gas to disperse hundreds of demonstrators. Mayor Kelsha Lance Bottom said that 2 officers have been sacked after video showed police surrounding a car and using stun guns on the occupants. In Los Angeles, though, a police sub-aggressor in several protesters in the street, knocking 2 people to the ground. Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden talked to protesters in his home town of Wilmington, Delaware, and wrote a post expressing support for those disappearing about Mr. Floyd's killing. In Metropolis, Derek Chauvin, the officer who pinned Mr. Floyd, pinned, or not pined, where did I get that word pinned from? Pinned. It's all my words, I say. I speak so much on this show, I don't shut up, and that's why I keep getting my words wrong. He pinned him to the ground by kneeling him on his neck, and he's been charged with murder. And our protesters are, I would believe, protesters are demanding his 3 colleagues at the scene, and are also prospected. Now, they were not done, and it said that Deanna Wade, organiser by Black Lives Matter in nearby St. Paul, where thousands, of course, gathered. Mr. Floyd's younger brother has called for the immunity to come to an end. Now, appearing on Good Morning America, not Good Morning Britain, Good Morning America, Terrence Floyd described the brother as a military who always saw the brighter side of things. He said that George was about peace and that the violence is overshadowing his memory. Well, I think we shall leave those stories there, I would believe, because, I think we should. Now, Gaga, new balls make a kind of guy. Lady Gaga says that her lover, Lady Gaga? Lady Gaga says her lover, Michael Polanski, is one of the few straight males that isn't interested in her for her looks. The shallow singer stepped out with her tech boss, Squeeze, for a caffeine fix in LA, as she opened up on their good romance, sporting a BRA and workout gear bra and a workout gear as a protective mask for her coffee run. She confused that she is chuffed. Michael doesn't place value on her as sick, and he said that I felt like I was really seen as a person, and it was really nice that I felt like I wasn't being objective by a man, she said. Gushed and bad romance star who had a collapsed engagement to agent Cristiano Carino the other year, and Gaga and Michael's outing comes in a breathtaking week for the singer as her track with Ariana Grande, Rain on Me, hit number 1 in the charts, and a new album, Chromatica, is outselling the top 20 this week. Would you believe? Now, enjoying the resilience, Gaga 34 says that effusive fashion and looks and all of that always plays second fiddle to her musical talent. I didn't get here because I'm pretty, she said. I'm not a supermodel. I make music, and it's that, my heart and my brain, that got me here, and a lot of hard work. She told Australian TV, that's the other side of the world, that even though I might wear skimpy outfits sometimes, and I'm sitting here with no pants or something like that, or big shoes, or my definition of beauty has always been very, very, very against the grain. She said, I would never, ever want to send a message to anyone, especially a young person, that you have to be perfect in. Now, the type of physical way, she said, in order to be a beautiful person, she said it came as the US star also took to Twitter to blast President Donald Trump for ignorance. and prejudice over his response to the death of George Floyd while being detained by